Hello
Live.
and welcome to the Africa Related Studios in New York. And today I'm particularly excited to have, you know, don't, a guest that is not a guest. It's home. And we'll be talking about a lot of things. So, Onimisi Adaba.
Yes, sir. No,
Yeah.
yes, ma.
You're welcome. You're welcome to New
Yes.
York. Welcome back to New York. You've been here
Yes.
before. Welcome
Yeah.
back to New York. And most importantly, welcome to
AR Studios. That's
Sacramento.
exactly. This is a lovely place. This is AR. This is Africa related, and it's so good to be here. It's been a long time coming, actually. You
Hmm.
know, the dream, the vision, and how far you have brought it, and how far you're taking it. It's like someone we know would say or has said, but for God.
But for God. Eh? As a Tom Adaba, but for God.
Yes, indeed, but for
Indeed.
God.
And that's
Yeah.
really the basis of everything,
Hmm.
all our strength, all our the ability to carry the vision forward, is really but for him.
Hmm.
And we're thankful for where we are.
Oh
We
yes.
we haven't even scratched the surface yet, so we're
Mm.
still at it and trying to make as much impact. But you've been in New York for some days now, so tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about your time here so far in the Big Apple.
In the Big Apple. Well, but the highlight of my visit here has been is the premiere of your documentary, which was 2 days ago, and which was hi, really amazing. Amazing because it's 10 years squeezed into what, 2 hours, less than 2 hours, you know. And I remember you said you still had to just do that because there's still more unfolding,
Huh,
you know.
absolutely. It's an
Yes,
ongoing story,
yes,
one. And
you know, and
yeah.
how well it was received, the people who came,
Mhm.
for me, it was the quality of people who came,
Absolutely.
who graced the occasion and found it meaningful, educational, who found it worthwhile. So it
Mm.
was, it was really nice, and well done to you. Well done
Thank
to you. I
you.
didn't even know you went to where was it? Venice, Munich, Munich. I
Yeah,
didn't know
we
you
did
went to
all.
Munich.
Oh
Yeah,
man, we did
I didn't know you
travel. We
went to. I thought
traveled
they yes.
quite a bit extensively. It
Mm.
put us on the road, like different. I think we had over 47 cities. We'd
Oh, there were a whole lot of
visited.
cities
Yeah, that
in
would.
and outside Africa.
Yeah, it
And
was.
it came again. A lesson there is the humility
Mm,
and the simplicity of the subject
absolutely.
itself in the person of Sir, in my own Sir Ella Nachwi.
Hmm.
You know, such a simple fellow, simple man, very unassuming, and I mean, that's the beauty of life. Actually,
Mm.
it's in the simplicity and not, as we say, buga.
They're showing off. See me.
Yeah, me dey here.
Right.
So simple, so simple, and that speaks volumes. Yeah, so well done for that.
Thank you. And
And like you said, just scratching the surface
yes,
because
there's so
there's
many
more
more
coming.
stories to be told. And,
There's
for
more
me,
coming.
in telling the story, it's again back to the issue of, how are we telling our stories and what type of stories? If you have a platform, what kind of stories are you telling? And how long would you look down the line and it's still
Relevant.
relevant, it's still classic, it still
Yes.
lasts. So those are the type of stories that we look out for. And of course, there are tons of stories like you and I have been talking about
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
haven't been told. And whether for lack of interest or your lack of funds or for
Or
whatever
creativity,
reason
the
or the
creative way of telling
creativity,
them.
yes. So it's something that we're definitely looking into,
Mm.
and we've also collaborated. Thanks so much for your kind compliment, and I'm grateful to my crew all over the world.
Oh yes,
They did
the
fantastic job.
team.
Yeah,
You know.
with projects like this, we want to encourage, corporates to take a look at some
Mm.
of the proposals on
Mm.
their desks, and really talk outside of the norm of what we push our funding into,
Mm.
in a place like Nigeria, for example. And I know we had Access Bank that supported us, as Access Bank Ghana that supported us in the, in the production, but more corporates need to drive funds toward relevant stories that
You see what
being
I
told.
see, and I may be wrong. I stand corrected. A sad development that I see is poor funding that comes into this part of production creativity against the entertainment part that is like um,
The
easy comes
shows,
easy go,
yeah,
and all of that.
yeah,
But the cerebral part, the intellectual part,
hmm
the serious part, it's a bit of a struggle, you
mm.
know.
That's the hard work.
Yeah.
It's easy to walk the red park carpet and say, "Oh, I'll sponsor that. It's done."
Mm.
But what went into getting it done?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
very many people and corporations or funding at that part at the
Mm.
bottom
Mm.
where you're grinding and
Mm.
pushing and
Mm.
scheduling and raising funds and all of that. Very few are there. But when it comes out, and especially when it comes out um,
Yes. Yes.
well and beautifully, a lot now want to associate it with it. But
Mm.
we're hopeful that this, we're using this as a great stepping stone. If
A
it is,
springboard, as a matter of fact.
it's really springing us up. And on that note, maybe we have come to the end. I say maybe
Really?
because I wanted to ask if you wanted to chip in about growing up in Jos, in J Town,
Ooh,
and
you should
how
have.
that impacted both our broadcasting careers.
Incidentally, there biologically there's six of us, and how many of us are in this line? About four,
Mm-hmm.
four thereabout. Four of us in this line. Even the one that read vet medicine.
He's back here. Has come back home.
Brought the
We grew up.
animal from the barn.
She and her band animals are here. Mm-hmm.
So I tell folks who care to listen, and when we get into conversations on where you grew up, I make bold to say, growing up in Jos, if you didn't grow up in Jos, you missed out on growing up. I'm telling you,
Honestly, Joss was
growing up in Jos was
amazing.
just the best.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Mm.
from the weather to the people to the environment, location to activities going on. By activities, now so many. Chief of which was what we're doing right now, radio and TV. We had a vibrant media. What do you call it?
Institution,
Media.
yes, media house.
Yes.
We had the schools, TV college. We had the television
There was a
station.
film
There was
corporation,
film
TV,
corporate. So
TVC, TV
all the
college,
actors,
TVC,
actresses, they were
most of.
all.
In fact,
Our house was
our house was usually
set.
locations,
Yeah.
for sets, locations
Yeah.
for shooting.
And then we were kids taken to
Yeah.
the studio.
Yeah.
all
Bring
the
your
time.
children. Bring your
And
children.
what's that again? We were studio kids.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So it was really an exciting. I'll be honest. I never saw. Even though it was later I realized that I remembered that at some point I practiced reading the news, because what intrigued me about reading the news was the head movement before teleprompters.
Mhm.
The head movement between taking the lines in there, bending down, or rather taking the lines on your table
Mhm.
and looking up and going back again to pick the lines.
Mhm.
And so I realized that I was practicing that, at some
And
point.
holding some words in your
Yeah.
head. Oh,
Yes.
man, yeah.
And coming to say that I must say that I never saw myself doing this.
Mm.
Oh yes. In fact, I wanted to read I wanted to take care of animals. And I realized to do that, you would have to read be in the sciences.
And that wasn't you.
And my
So he
brain
read.
was not for sciences. So I'm
And
like,
so he read
leave that
political
place.
science. You
So I wanted to go to international relations
Mhm.
in Zaria. That didn't work out. Political science, Sokoto came up. And I took it because there was a whole lot of elective courses in international relations. I wanted to be a diplomat, and it was after school, while service, I realized that, hey, look, I had a whole lot of jazz collections thanks to Doctor. And I went up the hill, the only radio station then, because I was listening. Funny enough, I just started listening.
Mm.
And I realized they didn't have jazz. I'm like, what? Go find out if you can play jazz
And
there.
then we had PRT, we had all those beautiful
Yes.
music we grew up with in
man.
Jos. So
We had the one I was playing yesterday.
yeah,
Spyro
Gyra.
Catching the Sun.
Catching the Sun. That was the stick tune
had,
for PRTV. I still remember the tunes for on NTA. Dennis Brown. They used to play a lot. That's where I knew Dennis Brown. I can imagine at what age, I'm like, so when I heard Dennis Brown's songs later on, I'm like, I know that
That's
voice. I know that voice. Nigeria is a beautiful country. If only we can lose the boundaries and just come together as one. And as one country, Nigeria is. We're sitting here we're sitting here abroad, highlighting the beauty of our country because we love our country so much. There's so many people that don't necessarily want to be away from home like that, don't necessarily mean to be away for that long, but because of certain conditions and situations that are it's just not right, and it cannot be left to continue for the sake of the country Nigeria and everyday Nigerians to benefit.
In fact, I've stumbled over back in Houston where I'm at. Lots of Americans there. A handful of, in fact, a whole lot of them who said, I watch a lot of Nigerian content on Netflix. Oh, you guys got it going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even if you when back in the 2000s, I'll be the people that used to park my car in Manhattan when I go to work. The dude, he must stop me every morning to tell me what he and his mother watched last night on. So there, it's been there, and it's a great PR for the country as a whole, for the creative industry. A lot needs to be done so that it's spread and administratively things function better, and but it's there. It's an industry that we're able to build out of nothing, and I think that is the beauty of Nigeria's story. Nigeria's creative sector is that what we have, what we don't have, we're still able to work with. Where you can't hire the cranes, we can hire an Okada, and you can, so we had to use what we had. So, but it's great. It's been great. This has been a great conversation. I totally enjoyed going over, reminiscing over Jos, Okene, family, New York. Let's not talk about food. It's all right.
But food is part of it. Food is part of it.
I believe we did.
No, we didn't.
Opa.
Yeah, but we didn't say masa. We didn't suya.
We can go on and on. There's so many good things, and the great thing about living abroad is like you get to bring a piece of home with you. There are restaurants here, there are places here that we can buy food stuff and just continue eating some of the things we love to eat back home. So,
have you had dambu?
Yes, of course. Okay. I have dambu, suya, kilishi, all of that.
Suya.
Yeah.
My children call it hair.
It sure does. It looks like hair. Okay.
All right. What can I say? Anything else? I
That
like your
would
dress,
be
by
it.
the way. I like
Thank you
your
very
top.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We try to represent all
Yes.
things
Trying to represent too, but in black.
black. Yeah. On that note, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, when we have another great studio guest, Onimisi Adaba is ours this time. Whenever you're in town, whenever you're in New York, stop by the Africa Related Studios. We're always here to serve you and to bring you the best in entertainment, news, and everything else going on with
Yeah.
Africans abroad.
Mhm.
Until next time, I'm Oyiza Adaba.